Hey, it's Devin Burke, your coaching guide to getting your best night's rest. And in this video, I want to talk about how to restore your natural ability to sleep. We're going to be talking about two really important concepts in this video. And the first one is, how do you reestablish trust in your body? Now, what happens is after a lot of trying things and a lot of those things not working, most people have a big distrust in their body's natural ability to sleep. Now, let me explain a little bit further. When you take a sleeping medication or a supplement or feel like you need to do anything in order to sleep outside of your own body's ability, you're essentially giving your power away. You're trusting in whatever that thing is to then have you sleep. And there's a time and a place for sleeping medications. There's a time and a place for sleep supplements. There's definitely a time and a place for, sleep hygiene. And when we don't have the right way of thinking about these things, what can happen is after trying them, and a lot of times these are Band-Aids, and those things not addressing the root cause, there's an inherent distrust that happens. A distrust in our body's natural ability. And so what I want to talk about here is, how do you reestablish that trust? Now, it can be a bit tricky because usually the trust is reestablished when you actually start to see evidence that your body can do this. Now, we tell our clients at Sleep Science Academy, if you don't have evidence in your body's ability to sleep without the need of anything yet, the first thing you can do is borrow it. Borrow it from other people that are going through exactly what you're going through or have gone exactly through what you've gone through, and borrow their trust. If it can happen for them, it can happen for you. And when we're trusting in our body, the feeling of trust in the body actually allows sleep to happen much easier. Because when we're out of that trust, a lot of fear, doubt, negativity, worry, anxiety is usually present. When we're distrusting, like if we're walking down the street and we saw a stranger that looked really dangerous, we're not going to really trust this person generally, and we might feel a little bit of a contraction. Some cortisol might be released or some adrenaline might be released, and we kind of start to feel this activated fight or flight response. The same thing actually happens in our bodies in relationship to sleep when we're not in a state of trust. So to start to establish that trust, if you don't have it yet, you can borrow it. Borrow it from other people. And you can go to sleepscienceacademy.com, go to our case studies and testimonials, watch some of those videos, borrow the trust. You're going to hear yourself in those videos, but borrow that trust that it's possible for you. Really, really important. Really, really important. The second thing that I want to talk about that is, it's one of these things that most people have a very, very difficult time with, and it's such a simple thing, and it's the practice of letting go. Letting go. And again, when we're in a state of letting go or surrender and we're in a state of allowing, it just makes it easier for natural sleep to happen. And we can't force or control sleep. So anytime we try to force or control something that we have no control of, that creates a tension or a pressure, which leads to the result not happening. And in this case, sleep happens. It's not something you necessarily have to do to make happen. There's nothing really you can do to force sleep, or at least natural sleep. And so the art and the practice of letting go allows the mind to get out of the body's way so that the body can do what it's designed to do, what it knows how to do, what it wants to do, which is sleep. And how do you let go is the next question, because a lot of people say, oh, intellectualizing that, I get that. It makes sense when I'm, in resistance and, I'm not letting go of things. I'm taking things to bed with me, my stressors, all the things that happen during the day. Of course, there's going to be this heightened level of anxiety or activation or frustration or fear or whatever it is. And if I can just let go of those things, then obviously, that would create the space for sleep to happen. But how do I do that? So there's a couple ways. And the first way that I found to be the most effective way for most people in the practice of letting go, and it is a practice, is really gaining perspective. And when you gain perspective, which is another way of saying looking at things from a different angle or a different way, and this is where working with a coach is extremely helpful, because we can't see the picture when we're in the frame. And what a coach does, actually what a coach does through questioning and holding space, is they allow you to gain perspective. And it's through that perspective that it makes it tremendously easy to then let go. And if you don't have that perspective, then it's quite a challenge sometimes to let things go. And I'll give you an instance in my own life. Recently, I was on a ski mountain and I lost my ski goggles, and I started to, contract, get stressed. Oh my gosh, these are, I love the goggles. They're great goggles. They're expensive, and I lost perspective. I lost perspective in that moment. And it started to color my experience. I was not letting go. I was holding on to, what I didn't have. And so eventually I gained perspective. I started to say, well, I could always just get another pair, or maybe somebody found them, put them in the lost and found. It's not that big a deal. I'm not going to allow it to ruin my day. I can snowboard without ski goggles. I'll be okay. And I did. And at the end of the day, I let it go. I walked into the car and somebody had found the ski goggles. I guess they fell off my helmet when we were walking down the mountain, and put them on the car, and there they were. But in the moment, I didn't have perspective. And in that moment, it was really hard to let go. And I know this is maybe a silly example of this, but see if you can apply this to your own life in the ways in which you're not able to let things go. And when we can get that perspective, all it takes is really asking some new questions. Is this really important? Is there any other way that I could look at this that might create a little bit of space or possibility? Some of these types of questions can help us gain perspective when we take the time to answer them, which then creates the space to be able to let go. And in that letting go, in that surrender, guess what happens? Sleep. So again, these two things, building trust in the body, and also practicing the art of surrender, of letting go through gaining perspective, are extremely helpful to allow the body and mind to do, again, what it's designed to do, which is sleep. So if you found this video helpful, please like it, share it, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.